started to wonder, and I wondered, which led me to wonder. I had to wonder. I started to wonder. I couldn't help but 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 wonder.
Hello, bitches. Welcome to City Girls Make Do, your favorite Sex in the City podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie, and I'm carrying on the McNougal line.
Oh, well, I'm Alex, and I wear ghetto gold for fun.
Well, that was a line that was said.
That was a fucking line. That's not me. That's not me trying to be fucking edgy. That was the show.
Yeah, thanks, Carrie.
Thanks, Carrie. I love your appropriation of fucking the bamboo gold earrings with your fucking name in it.
Yeah, love that she's using that word to refer to, like, a ring that was fairly expensive, and also just the fact that she's using it at all.
Using
really
it
just
as an insult. Cool.
Yeah, I'm like, great. Yeah. Anyway, she's got a ring to look at, because the episode's called, it's season 4, episode 12. It's called Just Say Yes.
Yeah.
So, say yes to what? Well,
you'll find out.
It's, I don't know, this episode was, like, fine. I felt like I was just annoyed the whole time, because I was annoyed mostly because I hate Richard, but then I was annoyed because I had to see Steve, and then I was annoyed because I had to see Big, and then I was, like, annoyed because Trey sucked just so much ass in this episode.
Trey was like, excuse me, I need to suck the equivalent of 10 dicks. How can I be just the fucking worst? Like,
yeah.
He really, like, if we did an invalidity, wait, no. Whatever, if we did a worst.
Right.
If we did a worst boys, if we did, like, best girls, worst boys, Trey's at the top this week for me. He's a fucking bad boy, not in a good way.
Trey fucking sucked this week. He was worse than Big. He was worse than Steve. And he was, I mean, definitely worse than Aidan, but Aidan's generally, like, the highest bar, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I guess we could just get into this one. So we start out with Carrie finding out that her building is going co-op. So I guess she's got to move. She's got to leave her rent-controlled apartment. And she's also wearing a very cute rainbow dress. And she's
I love that. Yes. It is gay rights. And it's, like, very floaty and cute and, like, a little handkerchief, like, style dress. I'm in love.
Yeah, it's very minimal for Carrie, considering last week the abomination she wore. This is very, like, instead of just 10 statement pieces, it's just, like, one cute dress that's it. That's it.
Perfect.
Yeah, Aidan is like, oh, well, why don't you just buy a place, you know? Why don't you just buy a place, Carrie?
Why don't you just buy an apartment in New York? I'm sure that's easy.
Yeah, I'm sure like my whole, I watched Legally Blonde like 2 days ago, and so my brain was just like, what is the opposite of, oh, like it's hard? So, yeah, she's like, yeah, I do not have money for that. Like, who the fuck do you think I am? He's just like, oh, well, I'm in a position to get my own place, and why don't I just buy your apartment and the place next to it and break the wall down and we can just live together? And I'm like, oh, but sounds really nice and easy for you to just do that.
Yeah, imagine. Like, I'm trying to find me a man who could just afford to buy 2 fucking apartments.
Like, he says he would have to sell his place, so I guess he'd get money for that, but it's still just like, what?
Also, he fucking put the money down for the bar, like, and he's, a self-employed carpenter? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I have no idea how we're expected to believe that he makes enough money to do that, like, to buy 2 apartments?
From building fucking sofas.
Yeah, I don't get, like, it's nice furniture, I guess, and I'm sure you, like, if it's popular, sure, like, you can make money off of that, but, like, there's no way they're making money off the bar, right? Like,
no, I feel like every, like, restaurant or bar just fucking loses tons of money the first year.
Yeah. So, I guess we can kind of believe it, but I don't know. But, anyway, Carrie is basically just like, oh, well, would you be my landlord or my roommate? And could you imagine, I mean, I guess that's just what owning a place is like when one person, I guess, has more money. But, like, the idea of, like, dating someone, but they're also your landlord is like...
Well, first of all, never going to date a landlord. You can miss me with that shit.
Disgusting! That's, like, the ultimate fucking boner killer.
Yeah, I'm not a class traitor, so that's not happening.
Yeah, no. So...
and he's like, a little bit of both, which, that's not the answer you want. And then she's like, okay, cool. I guess this is maybe like, to her, she definitely feels like she's moving fast. But we move on to Charlotte, who's on the moans.
Yeah, she's getting some butt shots,
and not the Cardi B kind.
No,
she's
getting a needle in her ass.
Yeah, so she's doing IVF, so she needs to take hormones for them to get the eggs, and like Trey's doing it, and she's like, you know, like, oh cool, like we're gonna have a baby. She's so excited, it's really sweet. But Trey's being a dick. So she says like, oh, I was talking to apparently a woman, 6 people in their building actually have gone through IVF. And Trey's like, why are you talking to all these people? And she's like, anyway, Peggy Woodruff like tried it, and now they've got a baby, and we've invited over to theirs for dinner, and I really want to go and talk about our experience and, you know, maybe learn some things. And Trey's like, that sounds disgusting.
Yeah, Trey is just so negative about all of this, which is wild because Charlotte is just so excited, and like, I don't know, he's just like, he talks about how he just knows so much about in vitro, and he's just like, look, I know how invasive it is, I know it takes ages, the success rate is extremely low, like, it's just, we could be waiting for years, so just like, I don't know why you're getting so excited about it. And then Charlotte's kind of just like, well, you know, you never know, it could take a long time, so in the meantime, I put us on a list for a Mandarin baby. And Trey's face at this, he's just like,
oh,
like, he doesn't say anything to Charlotte, but
yeah,
I feel like putting yourself on an adoption list with your husband or like your spouse should probably be a thing that you talk to them about first. Although I do feel like the entire McDougal reaction to this plot is
just the worst. Just the worst way you could react to it. It's the worst.
Yes.
Like, obviously, yes. Adoption, even if you're trying to have kids, like, adoption is a different route, and you should talk to each other about it, but he does seem to be, and it seems to be a bit of an issue that we're talking about a Chinese baby.
Yes.
And not a little white baby.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, he's just, like, being a fucking, obviously, he's, you know, trying to keep her expectations realistic, because IVF isn't it's not fail-proof. But at the same time, he's just being a fucking downer.
Yeah. And it's not even the reasons that you might expect for something like that. Like, it's not like he's saying, IVF is really expensive and we're going to be putting a lot of money into this, or saying anything. It's very much just, like, negative, like, I don't know. It's just like he's just saying it just to, like, kill the mood, not with Charlotte, and, like, just ruin her dreams, instead of being, like, practical kind of pessimism, like, I guess.
I don't want you to get your hopes up until we have it confirmed by the doctor that you're pregnant. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. But he's just negative.
He's just negative. And I can't deal with these negative vibes. I'm not here for it.
Especially when we know it's Charlotte and just how important it is to Charlotte. And the amount they've already gone through already. It's just, like, it sucks to see.
And the amount of sacrifices she's made already.
Yes.
To her body, to her career. She's moved. She's done so much. And he's just, like, not reciprocating any of the giving. He's just taking.
No. He's useless. We hate him.
Yeah, but it's Carl McLaughlin, so...
I know. At the same time, it's like, oh, but he's so cute. But then I'm like, okay, but Trey is bad. Trey's bad, and he's bad, and I don't like him. but Kyle is good. So
we the distinction has to be made.
Yeah, like I'm just the Chihuahua meme. When I see Trey, I become the angry Chihuahua. But then when I realize he's Kyle MacLachlan, I'm the happy Chihuahua, and I'm pleased.
Yeah, exactly. So let me go back to Carrie really quickly. And Aidan, she's like, Aidan hasn't officially moved in, but his stuff is everywhere. So she's going around picking up his stuff and putting it in his overnight bag. And in it, she finds a ring. And he's busy singing Tom Jones in the shower, so, you know, she's not going to be disturbed. And she looks at it, and it's ugly, which I don't think it was that bad.
I thought it was fine. I saw it, and I was like, I would wear this. Like, I honestly thought this ring was better than the other ring we see later.
The other one is so fucking plain.
Like, it's just very boxy, and it's a very very plain.
Yeah.
And this one is like, it has at least some character, I guess.
This is a fucking bitch who was wearing, like, an earring tied to a bandana the other week. Like, what? What? He's lucky that, like, what does she expect? I don't understand.
I have no idea. And, like, yeah, so, like, this ring she describes it as being pear-shaped later, and it's got, like, a gold band, and it's basically just, like, this pear-shaped diamond on, like, a gold band.
Yeah.
It's not that unplain either, but it's still, like, more interesting in shape than the other ring we see later.
I was gonna say, when she tells the girls that, she says it had a gold band, and they're like, ugh, ugh.
What else would it be?
I don't know. I guess, like, silver or platinum or something, but, like, I don't get it. I really, truly do not get it. But yeah, she throws up.
Yeah, she throws up in the sink, which is very funny, and it's very green. I don't know what she was eating. It's kind of gross.
It's, like, yellow. My curry had a lot of turmeric in it, and it was kind of like that. But it's, like, it's not quite the pea soup from The Exorcist, but it's close. And, yeah, she's just, like, she has such a visceral reaction to that situation that, you know, maybe something's off.
Yeah, she kind of talks about it to the girls, and she describes it, and when she describes it, it's, like, pear-shaped. Charlotte straight up says, ew, like, Summer on the OC, and, Miranda's kind of, like, confused, like, Carrie, you wear gold. Like, why do you not like a gold band and blah, blah, blah. And Carrie's like, it's not me. I don't understand. Like, how could he not know what I would wear? Like, how does he, like, if he's the right guy for me, how would he think this is something I would like? And, like, Carrie, he's a dude. Like, I don't know. I always feel like this is kind of one of those things where it's just, like, people will be like, make a big deal if someone doesn't know them well enough to buy, like, the jewelry they would wear. But, like, at the same time, I don't know. I don't feel like I have a really hard time picking out jewelry for other people. I'm fine at, like, picking out regular gifts for people, but I find it's really hard to, like, match someone's taste exactly when you're picking out jewelry for someone else. I feel like this, I don't know.
I feel like I'm pretty good at picking out, like, jewelry and clothing and stuff, but it's difficult because you might know someone, but you don't necessarily know what goes through their head when they're buying clothes or jewelry for themselves. You know?
Yeah.
Like, you might
especially if you're a dude.
Yeah.
And you don't, like, if you're Aidan and you probably have no thoughts anyway, and you have to think about what Carrie would wear, and Carrie wears all kinds of ugly shit all the time, so you're like, well, fuck.
I mean, like, you might look at something and go, oh, Alex likes flowers, I'll get her something with flowers on. And then in my head, I'm like, I want to look like a Victorian ghost, you know?
Yeah, you, like, and people, especially with, like, with wedding rings and stuff, that I feel like is a very different kind of jewelry from most of the other jewelry you'd wear. Because I feel like sometimes I would wear mostly just, like, kind of simple stuff, but then it's like, if I try to think about, like, for, like, an engagement ring, what the kind of thing you'd like is, I feel like it's just different. Like, it's a different kind of jewelry.
And you're wearing it every day. Like, it is a different situation. But she's taking it so seriously. And then Miranda...
It's like as if Aidan didn't know anything about her personal life or anything like that. Like, he doesn't know her at all because he doesn't know what to pick out.
Well, she had this reaction when Big bought her that, like, ugly handbag where she... Where she was
Oh
like,
my god, true!
oh my god, what does he think I am? Like, she's the ugliest fucking shit in the goddamn world. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And
It's so true.
it's ridiculous. But yeah, eventually Miranda is like, I helped him pick out the ring.
Yeah. She's like, look, he didn't know what to do on his own, so he wanted some help. And like, I love that of all of the people in Carrie's friend group that he asked to pick out the ring, it was Miranda.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm guessing it's because he's close to Steve, but at the same time, it's like, either of the other two girls would have made a better call, I bet.
Yeah.
Like,
and, like, so Miranda says, I was a pregnant woman buying an engagement ring that is not for me with a man who is not the father of my child. I wasn't happy about it.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, that's a specific situation to be in.
It really is a specific situation, and I understand it. I can't imagine. It's such a hard thing to pick out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Carrie's just kind of like, well, I guess what I'm going to do is say I'm not ready to be engaged, but I love you, and I'm ready to move in with you, and that's what's going to happen if he proposes. And Samantha is very much like on the same boat like as Carrie, where she's just like, yeah, no, if he doesn't know what kind of ring you'd like, he's the wrong guy.
Yeah.
He's the wrong guy for you. Like, altogether, just throw him in the trash.
Do not marry him. That's disgusting. If he can't pick out the ring you'd like, which maybe a bit extreme to throw the whole man in the bin.
Yeah, after he has put up with so much from Carrie, imagine if he picked out an ugly ring on purpose to get back at her for big.
That's the pettiest shit I can imagine. I love it.
It's good. And yeah, I can't imagine him possibly doing that, but I would love it so much if that's what happened.
Me too. And yeah, then we go to our question, which is just boring and I forgot immediately, but I did write it down.
In matters of love, how do you know when it's right?
I don't know. No one knows. Fucking, you know.
I don't know. Does it feel good? Is it good to you? Do you like it?
It's good to me. Do you love to hear it? Do you love to see it?
Yeah, exactly. Ask yourself that question when you think about your partner every day. And if the answer is no, then what the fuck are you doing?
Sure.
So, then we go to Sam and Richard, and she, like, shows up at this bar, or it's like the hotel bar, I guess, of one of the hotels he runs.
Yeah, one of his hotels, and she comes in, she's wearing, like, a fucking, like, skin-tight red dress with red earrings. She looks gorgeous. Like, this is not a business outfit. I'm obsessed with it. And
I love it.
She, like, comes in, he's like, you're 7 minutes late, and she says, I spent 15 minutes trying to get through your labyrinth of a lobby. And she's...
What lobby could this possibly... What could this possibly look like?
I don't understand how fucking huge this could be that she, like... It took her 15 minutes to figure out where the fuck to go.
Yeah, no idea.
But he's like, ugh. And they're bickering with each other. And, you know, she's like, can I sit down? He's like, fine.
Yeah.
I do love the sexual tension. It's great.
They do have a lot of that.
They have a lot of chemistry. And she, like, takes a drink out of his martini, and you can just hear his fucking boner going...
Yeah. Yeah, he says so many things that I just hate, though, because, like, after he talks about some mistakes she made, he's like, were you too busy accessorizing this morning? And just, like, he just says so many sexist things to her that he would never, ever say to a man that was working for him, ever.
No.
And she just kind of blows by it, and it's just like, can we please talk about business?
But then he's like, you've got something on your mind. What is it? And she's like, I just want to talk about business. Like, that's why I'm here. And he's like, oh, come on. You can tell me. You can tell little old Richard. And
Little dick.
He's a fucking dick.
He is.
And she's like, my friend might be getting engaged. And, I don't know why everyone needs to get married. I don't see the big deal. And he's like, oh, no, me neither. I just like taking women, on impromptu dates to Brazil and taking them to my 5-star hotel and fucking them on the plane. And she's like, oh, cool.
She likes it.
Yeah.
She's very intrigued. Yeah, that does sound like her kind of deal. And I mean, who doesn't want to get whisked off to Rio by some person who's just like, I don't care, I've got a private fucking jet.
Yeah, I would be like, oh, the Amazon's burning, but I can get my bush burnt? Okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, why have a wife when you can have a life? And I was like, oh, fuck off, Richard. Because you love
fucking
someone.
hated that.
Because you love someone. That's why you have a wife. You still have a life.
Yeah.
Your life is your wife, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's into that. She's down. She's down to clown.
It's Samantha's thing, so she is very much down to clown.
He kind of is the perfect guy for Samantha. Like,
yeah.
He's not interested in romance or relationships, but, you know, still treat a girl right and, you know, treat her well and dick her down.
Buy her things and dick her down. That's like basically all Samantha wants. And then just to have her own life.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Pretty ideal aside from like some of the fucking crimes he commits later in the series, but we'll get there.
we definitely will. But yeah, then we go to Miranda and she's like about to tell Steve, and we hear from Carrie's voiceover that she's thought about it very long and hard about when the right time and the right place would be, and she just blurts out when they're buying ice cream.
Yeah, she's just like, I'm pregnant. It's your baby.
Yeah.
And he's not disappointed or anything. Like, he's not like, oh, fuck, what are you gonna do? He's just like, oh, well, at least my ball still works.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. He says, well, at least my ball still works, Miranda. And then Miranda just, like, insists, like, you know, I'm having it, but you don't have to contribute anything at all. I can pay for everything. Don't worry about it. It's good.
Mm-hmm. And, like, basically sort of saying, like, you know, we can work out visitation. Essentially, he can be as involved as he wants to be, but the baby is hers.
Yes.
She's planning on being a single mother, so that's, you know, fair enough. And he's like, well, what the fuck? Like, when I wanted to have a baby, you didn't want to do that. And she said, you know, it's not the right time, but there's never a right time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And after he's like, why are you even telling me if you're like, I'm going to do everything by myself? And she's like, well, you still have a right to know.
Yeah,
like I'm not just going to be like, oh, I have this baby and it's somebody's. I don't know. This baby's got this weird curly hair and this stupid Brooklyn accent, and I don't know whose he could be.
The baby comes out in glasses like, hey, Ma.
Yeah,
Miranda. No, like, what? I guess she didn't have to tell him, but then he's still involved in her life. She's just going to show up one day with a fucking baby, and he's going to be like, who's that? And she's like, no, nothing. He's like, weird how you went into labor, like, 10 months after we had sex. And she was like, yeah, that's weird. Like, it was 40 weeks exactly after we had sex that you had the baby.
I don't think he can't count, though.
No.
I think, so it's fine. I just realized that they would have the same problem that Ron and Hermione had, which is that they'd have Ronald McDonald babies.
Yeah, I can't have any. I do think about that. Like, because obviously I'm a curly girl. And I don't know if I'm quite bold, I'm quite brazen. I'm like, I have dark hair, and everyone in my family has dark hair. So even if I did have a ginger baby would have dark hair. But that's not true. That's not true. I don't know. I need to keep...
You never know.
I'm not... And also, I don't want to be fucking some fucking dickhead's Meghan Markle. I couldn't stand the fucking jokes I'd get, so it's not happening.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. You're valid.
I'm not trying to get Meghan and Harry jokes the rest of my fucking life.
Yeah, that's valid. Yeah, plus you deserve so much better than someone who looks like Harry.
True. I need a Disney prince, not a fucking real one. Inbred twats. Anyway, moving on from inbreeded people who need to be beheaded. Then we go on to Carrie and Aidan. They're having dinner, and apparently Carrie's taken him out to dinner. I guess she's trying to get the Band-Aid ripped off, and she says very enthusiastically, yes, I want to move in with you. Yes, let's move in together. I really want to move in with you. Yes.
Uh-huh. It's a lot. He's just like, oh, great, because there's something else I wanted to talk about. And she's just like, what? And immediately just is like, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah, she, like, yeets it. She just fucking runs. And she goes and she, like, catches her breath. And she looks in the mirror and she's like, what's wrong with you? And then some woman in the stalls is like, are you talking to me?
It's really good.
It is. But yeah, she gives herself, like, a little pep talk and then goes outside, and in, like, slow motion, this is so dramatic, he pulls out something from his pocket, and she's, like, panicking, and then it was just his credit card, because he wanted to pay for dinner.
Aw, yeah, because he's just like, I know you wanted to pay for me, but your rent's about to skyrocket, ha ha ha. And she's, like, relieved, but also, like, it's still coming. So, she has to still think about it.
Yeah. Then we go to Trey's coming home from work, and Charlotte's learning Mandarin while painting her nails. Is cool. And
I like it.
I do love to see it. Let this bitch learn another language. Let her be a polyglot.
Yeah. And yeah, Trey comes home and he's like, what are you doing, honey? And she, explains, well, if we get a baby, and it's from China, I want to be able to talk to her because, sometimes they're older. You don't always get, a newborn baby. And Trey's like, oh, so it's a Mandarin girl now. And I'm just like, oh, I'm going to literally snap your neck in half.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill Trey.
It's so bad. It's so fucking bad. Like, a girl. Like, he says it like, a girl.
Yeah, like, oh, first it's Mandarin and then it's a girl, so it's a double whammy being both.
It's a double bad thing. A fucking woman of color. Ew. I mean, this is the last person you want raising a fucking woman of color, but still.
It's fucking bonkers.
Dude.
I'm just like, fuck you, Trey. That's just... First of all, how do you not know that most...
How do you not know about the fucking one-child policy? I feel like that was huge.
That was huge. And, like, Charlotte does explain it to him because he's a fucking idiot. And she's like, it's mostly unwanted girls who get adopted. And it's like, what the fuck is your problem, Trey? Like, I don't... I get that he's just a shitty rich white man. But, like, at the same time, I'm just like, I hate him so much.
Cannot wrap my head around being such a fucking hater. And he's like, well, why are you learning Mandarin? We're going to teach the baby how to speak anyway. And she's like, because sometimes you get older children and the baby might know Mandarin. And he's like,
I just
older
don't.
Child. He's the fucking worst. He is the worst. And it's just like, I just fucking hate him. And Charlotte is obviously willing to, open up her heart to a new child or, that's not biologically hers. And he just seems to be repulsed by the idea. It's so fucking tasteless.
Yeah, I can understand feeling like adoption isn't the right choice for yourself personally, but his, visceral reaction to it is so negative and so, if he has such a problem with it, why can't he just say to Charlotte, we haven't talked about adoption before, and I don't know if adoption is a route that I want to go through. Yeah. But instead, he's just being a huge baby about it, and for all the worst reasons.
It fucking sucks.
I hate it.
And she sort of snaps at him because, quote unquote, because of the hormones, but also because he deserves it.
He's being a dick. He deserves it so much. Yeah, I don't.
And she's like, when he says, oh, I don't even want to go to this stupid Scottish fling, because they have to go to this Scottish party for all the fucking Scottish people. I hate Scottish people now stupid. Because of him.
I hate it.
That's not true. I have very good Scottish friends, but
I hate this party they go to.
I hate it so much. I don't think anyone in Scotland would ever fucking do this.
No.
And he's like, I don't even want to go. And she's like, we have to go because we're not going to act like some barren couple who sits at home and just is miserable. We're going to go out, we're going to have fun, and we're going to enjoy ourselves. I bought a tartan dress, motherfucker.
Yeah, Yeah, and he's just like, you're so emotional. Like, maybe we should take you off the fertility drugs.
Ugh.
And she was emotional for 1 second, and he was being a dick. So, like, fuck off. Fully fuck off.
I like, no offense, if you're the type of person who, like, if someone who you know menstruates or whatever, if they're having an emotional moment and you go, ugh, it's your hormones, fuck off. Like,
Yeah.
let them just go through whatever they're doing. Like, I've had bad PMS before, and I've just been like, oh, okay, sorry, yeah, I'm a bit cranky, it is hormonal. And usually everyone's like, that's fine, that's cool. But to sort of say it is so rude, and it's so rude. I hate him. He really is just the fucking bottom feeder of this episode.
Yeah, like, he's been kind of up and down with, you know, how much I'm like, yeah, fine, you and Charlotte are okay together, or no, you're terrible together. But this is kind of where he plummets. Like, I feel like even with, like, some of the stuff he had before, I was like, okay, Charlotte, you deserve so much better, and you could be so much happier with someone who, you know, actually will want to, you know, look at you naked and not just look at a fucking pornographic magazine.
Yeah.
But, like, that's, like, it sucks, but it's not just disgusting like this is.
Oh,
like
100%.
This is, yeah.
If my fucking husband just wanted to jerk off by himself occasionally, that's fine. If he starts just, like, calling me hormonal whenever I'm upset and acting disgusted when I bring up the idea of adoption and just shooting me down when I bring up anything and not listening to any of my fucking concerns, now we have an issue. Or several.
Yeah. Yeah, huge issues. Like, even in the weeks leading up to this, you could tell he was kind of going downward, because there was the whole thing where he was just, like, being a huge fucking baby about, like, not wanting to get his sperm tested, and then just like everything leading up to this, he was just being so uncooperative and just like, why are you making this a big deal? I'm a big fucking baby. And, like, this is just a new low, though.
Oh, yeah,
so.
100%. So, I mean, going away from Gross Boy, we go from another Gross Boy.
True, I forgot. Forgot about this for a second.
Yeah, so Carrie's, like, standing on the street trying to get a cab, and then guess who pulls up? Mr. Big! And he's, like, doing his fucking smarmiest, greasy, oiliest fucking face, sticks out, and he's like, get in, Carrie.
I would love it if he sounded like that.
His fucking face looks like he's gonna talk like that. He looks like a fucking cretin.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's a gross. He's disgusting. And she gets into his car and they do their whole, like, dumb flirty ass banter, and I hate it. And he's just like, he asks about Aidan, but he doesn't use Aidan's name, and Carrie's like, you know his name now. And Carrie's like, he might want to marry me. And she kind of teases it for a second, like, oh, well, you don't want to know how happy I am. And he's just like, how do you know he wants to marry you? Like, do you know, or do you just think he does?
Yeah.
And I'm like, fucking, first of all, just fuck off.
Ugh, and she's like, I know. And he's like, marriage isn't really you. You're not fit for it. Like, he's just shooting her down, and it's like, it's not for you. You're not that type of girl, blah, blah, blah. And she's like,
and he's like,
now you go.
Yeah, he's like, and he's not the guy for you.
Yeah,
which, like, you don't know shit about him at all. And Carrie is just like, look, of all the people, I am not taking relationship advice from you, who has been twice married, twice divorced, currently single, ruined his entire marriage by cheating
with me.
Twice. He tweeted and
ruined his relationship.
Yeah, he did. But yeah, he ruined both his relationships by cheating.
Yeah. So maybe he's not the best person to get relationship advice from. Maybe. Just maybe.
Yeah.
And yeah, he drops her home, and she, like, she calls Miranda and is like, why didn't Aidan propose to me the other night? Did you tell him? Did you tell him I hate the rain? Did you tell him not to propose? And Miranda's like,
and she'd also kind of gone through his bag a second ago.
Yeah, and there's no ring there.
Yeah.
And Miranda's like, I didn't tell him shit. and I'm not getting involved anymore. And then she just...
Also, I'm throwing up.
She just throws up. She's like, hold on a sec. And then throws up.
Yeah. Yeah, she's got the morning sickness, even though it's not morning. You're throwing up all the time.
Which I've heard before, that it is just, it's all the time.
Yeah, the human body's a disaster, especially when you are pregnant, it sounds like. So, bad.
It's bad. Your body's fighting against you all the time.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, Carrie's like, well, she's freaking out as usual, being her neurotic self.
Yeah. She is kind of like, well, is he still going to propose, or is he, what's going on? And we don't find out yet. We kind of find out later what happens. But for now, we go back to Charlotte and Trey, and they did go to the Scottish Society annual event thing, whatever the fuck it is. Everyone's wearing plaid. Trey is wearing a kilt. She's just got like a tartan dress, I guess. It's fine.
It's
I don't
ugly.
know.
It's too much tartan. There is such a thing, and there's too much.
That's everyone here. Everyone is like a parody of a Scottish person at this event.
Yeah, which, like, funnily enough, obviously being in England, like, there are a lot of Scottish people. I would say that pretty much all of them get mad if you kind of insinuate that they all wear tartan and fucking do the Highland fling and drink whiskey. They get kind of pissed off about it.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
But they sure do that in this episode, though, in New York, because they're all just like, I mean, they're real Scottish, but like they're basically fake Scottish because they don't live there anymore, and so they're just like,
it's like fucking Italian. It's like Italian Americans being like so over the top of like, oh, we're Italian. Everything I wear has the fucking flag on it. That was a terrible accent. I'm sorry. I'm very tired.
No, it's good.
But I feel like every kind of, if you're an immigrant in another country, like, probably if I went over somewhere, I'd be dressed in, like, a British flag, like, what's up?
Yeah. Like, they're removed enough from their heritage that Bunny doesn't have a Scottish accent.
No, none of them have
like,
I mean,
you guys are just fucking Americans.
Maybe Bunny is meant to have, because, like, sometimes, like, really posh Scottish people just sound English. So, I mean, maybe she's meant to have a Scottish accent? I don't fucking know. But, yeah, it's strange. I don't think she is actually Scottish. And she seems to care a lot about the fucking McDougalls, considering she married into it.
I never even thought of that. But, like she's not even, like, maybe she was already some, like, nice family that's, like, I don't, like, well off. But yeah, she very cares about this stupid lineage, which is kind of, like, literally no one cares. There's so many McDougal families, like, what does it even mean? Like, if Trey doesn't have children, there are so many fucking McDougalls out there.
Like,
your line isn't gonna die.
He has a brother.
Yeah, yes, he has a brother. We see his brother.
It's
like,
so stupid. But the way she fucking, oh my god, the way she's like, she literally says, quote, I don't like Mandarin food and I don't want a Mandarin baby. Which, what? And she's like, no, the lineage needs to be carried on by biological sons. Like, fucking, like, they're some fucking royal family.
Like, they're not even close to that.
No.
What the hell does that mean? And just, like, she pulls her off to the side to talk about this, so clearly Trey has had a conversation with Bunny about this adoption thing.
And been like, I'm a pussy, can you talk to her for me? Because I'm a fucking coward.
Yeah, and I can't do it myself. And you guys have a great relationship, so I'm sure it'd be fine. I'm sure it'll go over great. Also, right before she says that, Charlotte makes a comment, like, about the Highland fling and how, like, it looks like it's a lot more work than, like, how it looks like a lot of work. And Bunny's like, that's what I used to say to Trey about you.
Yeah, so she calls her, she says, oh, it looks like a lot of work for a fling. And she's like, that's you.
Yeah, it's fucking... so...
I would, listen, I would push this fucking old lady down the stairs.
I would too. She deserves it. She deserves to get fucking mauled by a dog. Like, I hate her so much. I hate the entire McDougal family. Like, I hate them so much. And then Charlotte is understandably pissed after Bunny makes the Mandarin baby comment, and she just goes straight over to Trey, and she's just like, why did you get your mother involved in this? What the fuck.
Yeah.
And he's just like, can you please not yell at me in public? Like,
I'm trying to do the Highland fling. What are you talking about?
Literally, yes. And like, go somewhere else and talk to your wife if you're so embarrassed about her, you know, being rightfully mad about this. And she storms off, and he tries to like grab her by the side and rips her tartan dress, and it's just so much. So much.
It's so much. So she obviously leaves.
Yeah. And then we go to Samantha and Richard.
Mm-hmm. Also, wait, I believe that's the... Oh, wait, no, that's not the last thing we see of them. I was like, that's it. No, it's not. It gets worse, somehow.
Yeah, it sure does. It gets worse.
Yeah.
We go to Samantha and Richard next, and they're about to take off in his private jet, and they're, like, making out on the seat. And the like, flight... I don't even know. Is it even a flight attendant if it's on a private jet?
I think it's just a pilot.
Oh, yeah, it probably is the pilot. He's kind of like, make sure you're buckled up for takeoff while they're, like, on top of each other, like, half undressed.
And they're like, thank you, Derek. Yes, we will. And then he just puts a belt, like, over her while she's still laying down. Like,
yeah, it's useless. And they just keep going at it on the seat, and it's gross, and I hate it. And she's like, should we be doing this if you're my boss? And then they just keep making out, and they basically just nut as the plane takes off.
He like clearly just puts it in and she's already nutting. I'm like, that's a bit much.
Yeah, right. Although Samantha probably is the kind of person who can have vaginal orgasms, because like, I don't understand why she would like sex so much if that's not the case.
Like, it's still fun if you can't, but like, it's not the greatest.
Well, it's just like, it's fine and like good, but you're not gonna nut.
No,
is the thing. And
nutting, it's like dessert, right?
Yeah, true. And Samantha, like, she's gotta be able to just nut. Like, remember that time she was like, yeah, I nut every single time I have sex with someone, like, otherwise what's the point? And I'm like, okay, not everyone can just have vaginal orgasms. Like, calm yourself down, okay? Like,
okay, no need to gloat, bitch.
Yeah, no need to be like, I'm the, like, 10% of people with vaginas who can do this. Yeah. Like, fuck off.
Although, like, fucking, I don't know, maybe this is, like, an issue with just not understanding of anatomy. Because I definitely did have sex with a guy. And I was like, I didn't come. I didn't finish. And he was like, you didn't? I was like, nah, dude.
I don't understand. It's like, I feel like it's kind of obvious when someone does. I mean, I realize that like when you don't have a penis, it's a lot, like it's not like there's a visual indication that the nut is complete. But there's other indications. It's not just like, oh, yeah, you can let them know, or, you know, like, I don't know. It's at least like if you're like I feel like some people just like assume that it happened, and it's like you could just ask if you're not sure.
They're just like, oh, I'm so good at this, obviously.
Yeah, I know. Like, obviously, all I gotta do is just, you know, fucking jackhammer, and you're good. You're good to go. Good to goo. And
good to goo.
No. Yeah, I love to say good to goo. It's good to me. It's goo to me.
Anyway. But he does say something kind of weird where she sort of says, oh, am I getting paid? And he's like, oh, maybe. I think, or maybe he says, you know, you're not getting paid. And she's like, oh, you couldn't afford me anyway.
Yeah, she says, I'm a very talented woman. And love it.
I do.
Yeah. He's like, well, I'm a very rich man. And like, the whole thing is just a lot.
It's
so much.
Certainly a lot. And then we go back to Charlotte, and this is fucking sad.
This scene fucking sucks. Like, she needs her shot because, you know, she needs to take it every night. And he's just like, really, tonight, like, after everything, I still need to give you your shot. Like, she's very much just like, she clearly doesn't want to have to ask him about this because, like, it's uncomfortable enough and he's being a fucking baby. And she's like, yeah, like, you have to give it to me every night. Otherwise, I can't keep the McNeagle family line going. Because that's what's so important. And Trey basically has a blow up that's like, this is too much work. Relationships shouldn't be this hard. I don't want to try anymore. I'm giving up. And if it's meant to happen, you'll get pregnant. And if it's not meant to happen, you won't. But this is just too much. And I'm over it.
And he says, like, I just want it to be us for a while. Like, I don't want... He basically says, like, he doesn't want to have kids, really. He's happy for it to just be them. And Charlotte's heartbroken because obviously she put her career... She basically could have ended her entire career to have children. She's been, like we said earlier, like, she's put her physical body through the paces as well as, like, her mental... Like, she's been doing all the fucking work. And he's not doing shit.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm so tired already. I'm 43 years old, and this is, like, I'm already tired, and then on top of that, like, no relationship should be this much work. And Charlotte's like, relationships take work. Like, it's not like it's always easy. It's hard now. It'll be easier after this is over with. And he's just like, nope, I'm over it.
Dude, your fucking dick wasn't working like a fucking year ago.
It's also just so frustrating hearing people who you know have never had to go through any hardship in their entire life because everything has always been handed to them, be like, well, I tried for 5 minutes and I'm giving up because this is too hard for me and I can't deal with literally anything.
Yeah. It's like okay, you're treating this, like, real life situation as, like, me when I burn my toast. Of, like, I'm giving up, I'm gonna have cereal. Like, no, this is your fucking wife.
Yeah. Like, you know how important this is to her. I mean, at the same time, it's like, okay, clearly if he doesn't want, like, he should want kids on his own, regardless of if that's what Charlotte wants. Like, if he's not in it with his whole heart, then he shouldn't be having kids in the first place. But, like, this should have been something that came up so long ago.
This is something you fucking have a discussion about before you even get married, right?
Well before. I mean, they got married a fucking, like, 3 months after they got met. Like, they were engaged after a month. This is the most ridiculous relationship ever.
I fucking had this conversation on a first date and been like, oh, do you like kids? Yeah, I like kids. Oh, do you want them? Like, yeah, in the future sometime. Okay, cool. Like, it's not the deepest convo even, but obviously if you are married to someone, that is a conversation you should have had several times before.
Yeah, fully. They have such communication problems. It's absolutely bonkers.
It's ridiculous.
And you could just tell Charlotte is so devastated by all of this because after he says he's just not trying anymore, she kind of just, like, walks away and she's very much not okay at all. And Trey's just like, honey, are you fine?
Of course she's not.
She is devastated. You just ruined so much, like, her dreams. And obviously Trey's the wrong person for her. And obviously she should have known this a long time ago. But, like, you can't not feel heartbroken for her when this is something she wants so badly. I hate him so much. I hate him. I'm riled. I'm rattled.
I understandably. Hey, do you want to know something really bad?
Yes.
So the next scene we're going to talk about, there's a little factoid from IMDb, which says, the scene where Aidan proposes to Carrie was shot on the street Woody Allen and Sunyi Previn lived. They were standing by the window watching the shoot.
Ew. Cursed. Oh, that's so much worse than anything.
Yeah, so I'm like, let's just ruin the vibe even more. Let's just fucking turn this episode into a downer. This whole episode,
cursed engagement. Nothing could make nothing could curse a marriage more than having Woody Allen watch The Proposal.
Like, if you drink poison and need to throw up, just listen to this episode, because there's a lot of me retching, and also, like, just a lot of disgusting behavior is happening.
Yeah, absolutely disgusting.
Disgusting. But yeah, so Carrie and Aidan are walking Pete, and she's wearing this fucking outfit, like, it's nighttime, and, she's wearing, like, tiny little hot pants and, like, a little boob tube with a bra underneath. She looks like Christina Aguilera in that music video she did with Missy Elliott.
Do you mean the Moulin Rouge one?
No, the other one. The Can't Hold Us Down. I think Missy Elliott was in that.
I don't know if I know the video.
Oh, she's wearing like booty shorts and like a fucking tiny top, but also it's pitch black outside.
Yeah.
So even if it's summer, that's like
so dark.
Yeah, even if it's summer, that's like not a summer clothes. And Aidan's just wearing like a denim jacket and jeans.
It's a lot.
He's wearing like a normal outfit, and she's like, "Okay, time to put my booty shorts on."
Yeah,
I don't understand the temperature. Is what I'm saying. I'm not obviously.
I don't either.
100% here for a booty short moment. I don't understand the temperature.
I don't either. I would think it would be the other way around, and she would be the cold one, and Aidan would be like, "I'm hot all the time." But I think that's just because that's what my reality is like. But
same. I don't know if there is like a hormonal thing or some like thing, but I am always cold every time I'm like with a guy. He is like a human radiator, and it's quite nice. But at the same time, like I'm permanently cold.
Same. I'm always cold.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
I'm like Edward from Twilight. I am like a Twilight vampire where I'm very pale and very attractive and freezing cold.
Oh my god. Big mood. Yeah, I think we're both Twilight vampires.
And then our boyfriends are werewolves.
I love that.
Yeah.
Just like in Twilight, where Edward and Jacob are endgame.
They should have been.
Yeah.
Really? Like, if Stephanie Meyer wasn't a fucking coward woman, then they would have been a throuple by the end. And that's on Alice.
True. You don't have to say coward Mormon. You can just say Mormon. It's implied.
Sorry. Don't use redundant language.
But yeah, that would have been the smart thing to do. And then, like, everyone would have been happy, because, like, the Jacob and Bella shippers would have been happy, and the Edward and Bella shippers would have been happy, and the fucking Edward and Jacob shippers would have been happy. Like, you make everyone happy. But someone was an idiot, so.
Someone, not naming names, but Stephanie Meyer herself,
yeah, someone who is cursed enough to have the same name as me, but spell it the stupidest way I could possibly imagine.
With an extra fucking E instead of the A, fuck off.
Just to spell it like a fucking Starbucks barista would spell it on my cup when I get it. Like, they say that like as if I don't respect Starbucks baristas, which I absolutely do, but they always spell my name fucking wrong, and Stephanie's such an easy name to spell right. I don't understand.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Especially as you have it spelled the regular way. It's not like Catherine, where there's like 50 other different spellings. Like, there are different spellings of Stephanie, but you just have it like the most common way.
They'll be like, I'm going to spell it with a Y at the end. And I'm like, I mean, you're valid, and I appreciate that you made my coffee, but this is not how anyone spells this name. But what were we even talking about? The proposal?
Yeah. So yeah, they're walking the dog and they're just talking, and then Carrie's like, Aidan's like, "Oh, have you got a baggie? Have you got a dog poo baggie? Can you hold?" And she's like, "Ugh, no." And she looks away, and he says, "Can you hold this for a second?" And he gives her the ring, which, like, I do quite like that is a cute proposal. I hate that he used dog shit as a way to get that, because she's gonna...
Me too.
Because, like, when you get proposed to, you're gonna have to tell the story over and over again. And then if you say, "Oh, he was trying to find his fucking dog poo bag," like... Every single time.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bad way to do it. Like, it's cute to have the dog. Like, if he'd just been like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go down on my knee and pet Pete."
Yeah.
And then say, "Hey, can you hold this?"
Or,
But
like,
no, he's
yeah, it's like, I think it's cute they're walking the dog. And he could have just said, "Oh, wait, I got something for you." Or just pet Pete and then got down his knee and turned around and been like,
Yeah, he could have been like, "Oh, it looks like Pete's got something in his mouth," and then...
"Oh, no, Pete.
Oh, what is it?
Pete, you've eaten plastic again."
Yeah. That would have been better than the dog shit thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, anyway, he gives her the ring, and she's kind of, like, stunned, and then she opens it, and it's a different ring. It's no longer the pear-shaped diamond with the gold band.
No.
It's this boxy, it's like a square diamond that has, like, you know how diamonds always have, like, 10,000 sides on them, and they all like cut a bunch of different ways? This honestly looks like it's cut in, like, 8 different faces, and that's it.
I think it's called a princess cut or something. Like, it's like a square, but like raised.
I guess it's so boring.
It is a bit boring. And Carrie's like,
know.
it's such a beautiful ring. Like, before she even says, like, oh, I love you, or yes, she's like, oh, the ring.
Yeah, and he's like, I had a different one picked out before, but then I decided this one was more you. And I'm like, okay, the second he said that, I was like, someone told him.
Yeah.
Because there's no fucking way he thought that on his own. And even if he did, there's no way he would be able to pick out a ring that she likes better.
No.
Just by himself.
Well, I guess... Well, actually, we find out that Samantha did it. So I think Samantha...
Exactly.
Samantha went over and was like, the ring's disgusting. If you are going to marry my friend, don't be gross about it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm happy we found that out, because I was like, there's no way this is like... that he did this on his own.
Cinema sins, plot hole.
Yeah. And Carrie, like, I feel like she said yes, not so much because she changed her mind about, like, how happy she could be with him.
Because she gets a ring.
Well, it's because she got a ring, but not so much just that she got one. It's that he realized that wasn't the ring for her, and he knew her so well because he knew that that wasn't the right ring, even though it wasn't him in the slightest.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of the vibe I got, that she was just kind of like, oh my God, I'm so happy he like got me the ring that I actually like and would wear, and oh my God, like it's perfect. And
also,
she says yes.
I think she also said yes because of what Big said. Because Big was like, oh, you're not the marrying type, he's not right for you. She wanted to prove him wrong. Because she immediately phoned Miranda after having that conversation with him and was like, why hasn't he proposed?
True. That's true. And like this whole episode, the question is like, how do you know when things are right? And there's not really a time when you just know things are right. It's not like you're just suddenly like, okay, well, now I've suddenly crossed over that barrier between right, not right, and right.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Miranda and her baby. Like, it's not the right time, but when is it ever going to be the right time? And with Charlotte, it's not so much is it the right time as it is this the wrong time? Like, is this the wrong person? Do I need to be making a huge change because this isn't the right person?
Yeah.
And so, themes. There's themes.
Themes.
Uh-huh. And so Carrie says yes, and then we immediately cut to Steve showing up at Miranda's door. This was really funny because I was watching this on my television and from my laptop with headphones, and Matt was sitting next to me, and he was just like, wait, is this Steve? he saw him on the TV and was just like, that's Steve, isn't it? And I was like, okay. You gotta hear this. And then I unplugged my laptop because I was like, I realized he'd never heard Steve talk before in real life. So I was just like, I gotta let you hear this. And then,
I gotta let you hear this, Miranda.
Yes. So he heard the whole rest of the episode after this, because I watched the rest without headphones. And but Steve's at the door, and he's on his knee with a ring, and it is the ring that Aidan was gonna give to Carrie first.
And as soon as she sees it, she's like, are you fucking stupid?
She's like, I'm not marrying you, Steve. I don't want to marry you. And he's just like, well, I don't want to marry you either, Miranda. And it's just like, well, then why are you proposing, you dumbass?
Oh, he's so stupid. And
yeah,
she's like, what the fuck? And she also says, by the way, I know that's a hand-me-down ring. I helped pick it out.
Yeah, he's like, well, you're the one who picked it out, so I thought you'd like it. And she's just like, yeah, I picked it up for Carrie, not for myself. Like, as if everyone has the same taste.
Also, what the fuck is he thinking?
No idea. And, they have a nice conversation that's like, neither of them want to get married.
Yeah.
But, Steve feels an obligation. He doesn't want to just be like this deadbeat guy who doesn't do anything. And so they have kind of a nice conversation that's just like, look, like, you can be as involved as you want, and you don't have to marry me. Like, that's not what I want to do. I don't want to marry you, and you don't want to marry me. We're not going to force anything to happen. We're just going to raise this baby and, take it by ear and stuff. And so it's kind of a nice scene once they realize that neither of them wants to marry each other.
Yeah, it's cute. And she's like, we'll make it through.
I do love that Carrie's voiceover was like, Miranda knew that Steve wasn't the guy for her. And I'm just like, okay.
Does she, though?
Does she really know that? Okay, well, we'll sit on this for a bit. But, and then we go to the last scene of the episode, which is Carrie meeting Samantha for a drink. And she just is like, look, I'm engaged. And Samantha says, fuck you.
Well, she's like, I have news. And she's like, Aidan dumped you.
Oh my god. Yeah, it is kind of funny. Like as if she didn't already know because she picked out the ring, but they get a drink. Samantha, she says fuck you at first, and then she's like, okay, let's celebrate and get a drink. What the hell? Like, basically she's just like, look, if you're getting married, we should at least celebrate. And she shows her the ring, and Samantha's like, yeah, I already know. Like, I literally helped pick him out. Like, what was he supposed to do? Give you that ugly old ring? And like, he needed someone to help him, obviously. He's an idiot. And that's like the end of the episode. Like, they just have a nice time over drinks after that.
Yeah.
That's
it. It's cute. It's cute, though. And, like, obviously...
It is.
Samantha has, I guess, had an off-screen revelation that, like, you know, her friends are happy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's it. It's kind of a like, a anticlimactic finish, I suppose.
It kind of is. Yeah, it's kind of... I mean, it's so weird to call it an anticlimactic finish when, like, Carrie gets engaged. But it kind of is.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the episode. It's... I don't know. It's kind of a bummer episode.
Yeah. It really fucking is. Like, I don't know. I didn't hate it, but, like, now going back and talking about it, it fucking is.
Yeah. Well, like, a lot happened. And... it was interesting, but at the same time, it's just like so many things and people made me annoyed. Mostly Trey. Like, it was mostly Trey and Bunny.
Yeah, me too. I mean, obviously it was fucking Bunny and Trey, because they are scumbags.
Yeah, fully. I guess, rankings?
I'd say, like, Charlotte for number one. I don't know, I feel like all the I mean, apart from Carrie, as per usual. But I feel like all of them were fine. Like, Charlotte and Miranda are for the joint, I suppose.
Yeah, I think Charlotte's my number one this week just because she puts up with so much horseshit, and then she, like, sticks up for herself in public, and even though Trey is like, you're making a scene, she's like, she fully deserves to make that scene, and I don't know. I like to see Charlotte stand up for herself and fucking not put up with Bunny or Trey's bullshit when they start spewing dumbass stuff that I hate to hear. So yeah. I think Charlotte's definitely my top this week. And
yeah, me too.
Yeah, probably Miranda.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna put Samantha third because, like, Richard sucks, but, like, we've all dated a guy who's a dickhead, and at least she got to go to Brazil and get fucked on a private jet, which I can't say I've done either of those.
Yep. Yeah, same. She's my third, and then Carrie last because she fucking sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's rankings. We don't have any questions this week, do we?
No. Fuck you.
We have no questions this week, but if you want to send us a question for next week, you can send it to citygirlsmakedo.tumblr.com/ask. And we will have, next week is the cardboard cutout of a baby episode that has been long anticipated. We have Jess on with us, and I am so excited. And I cannot fucking wait to get to this episode.
Me neither.
So, be excited for that. Send us questions. I'm gonna fucking scream in delight. And send us Steve voices if you're a $5 donor.
Yeah.
So since there's no questions, I guess I can just go right to Patreon. So, you can donate to us on Patreon at patreon.com/citygirlsmakedo. And, the $1 level gets you access to our mummy mailbag, and it gets you access to the Looker and Nanu channel, as well as a special role in the Discord server. At the $5 level, you can submit Steve voice, you can get everything from the $1 level, and you can, was there something else at the $5 level?
I don't know.
Imagine remembering anything.
Are you reading it?
No, I have a different window open. Nope, that's everything. and you gotta shout out on the podcast every week. I'm dumb. So shout out to Summer Geist, Jess Ilachi, Siberian Pine Hardwood, Jennifer Snyder, Dan McDawson Silva, Matt Ribeiro, and Pierre the Disaster. Thank you so much for donating. You make everything worth it. Like, as if I wouldn't have fun anyway, but we love to have money.
It's great.
And, yeah, if you want to donate at the $10 level, we would super duper love you. And you would basically get all the previous stuff, but then you'd also get to listen to us record live every week.
Mm.
We also talked about changing up the mailbag and Keanu situation.
Yeah. So essentially, obviously, we haven't had the mailbag in a while. And, you know, we feel bad about it. It's just difficult to, like, get everyone in the same place, even though I literally physically live with my mother. But still, she's got a life. She can't stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning talking about bullshit.
Yeah, coordinating is hard.
Yeah. So we were thinking, like, maybe we'd just do the Keanu podcast anyway, because we want to do it.
Mm-hmm. I think we gotta do that.
I think we kind of have to. I think we gotta have to.
Yeah, I think we gotta. So I think we will keep you posted on that, but I'd like to get that out. I'd like to record that soon. I feel like we gotta do my own private Idaho first after everything.
Christmas present. Also, I'm doing...
Oh my god, true.
I am doing Shakespearean class, so, like, I can come through with the fucking Henry IV knowledge.
Ooh. Was he in that?
No, so basically, My Pro Idaho is, like, loosely based on Henry IV, I believe.
Oh, shrimp trusting. Don't they also do... Isn't he also in Much Ado About Nothing?
He is, where he's, like, at peak sexiness.
I've seen the gifs on Tumblr of him in that movie, and I'm like, who boy?
Whose man's is
I'm
this?
excited.
I love that in that film, Kenneth Branagh was like, I'm gonna give the gays everything they want. And he cast Denzel Washington and Keanu Reeves, and they're just like mega fucking sex throughout the whole film. It's like, no.
He did
I'm gonna get 2 sexy boys. Boys.
He did it for us.
He did it for us. Thank you, Kenny.
Yeah, we love you, Kenny B. Come on our Keanu podcast.
Oh, I would die.
Oh my god, me too. Yeah, that's everything, I guess. So you can find me on Tumblr at Windfall Island, and you can find me on Twitter at Age of Oddish.
Yeah, and you can find me on Twitter at Alex Lavergo and on Tumblr at Dork Phoenix. Wig wig.
And as always, you can find our podcast on noisepace.xyz with all the other good podcasts there. Mm-hmm. If you loved Summer last week, you gotta check out My Pod Cabbages. It's so good.
I mean, I think her Azula voice alone has converted people.
I think it has. It's amazing. It's such a good podcast. I love to hear it. Like, even if you don't Avatar The Last Airbender, it's a good podcast, because her and Noah are just great
Exactly.
together. And
I don't really know Avatar Last Airbender very well, but I do love Me the Geist.
It's good. It's good to hear. And all kinds of good podcasts on Noisepace. So check them out and follow us on Twitter and Tumblr. We're everywhere City Girls Make Do. Or we're City Girls Make Do everywhere. We're not on every website, but
soon, eventually.
Eventually we'll be on everything. So look forward to that.
We're like Disney. You can't escape us. We will monopolize the podcast game and the internet game.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So long and good night. Fuckers.
Fuck cops.
Fuck cops. That's podcast.
That's the podcast.
Mohe every day.
Mamma mia. That's the podcast. Mohe every day.
Bye.
Bye.